It was a cool one. It was a cool one. I started a new segment called What the Corona. I talk about, what's happening, give you an update. I also talk about a new requirement, wearing mask while, doing the hanky panky. I tell you a story about China. When I was in China, my first night in China, I think you would enjoy. I saw somebody get stabbed, basically. And I talk about the foods in China, what I ate, what I almost ate, which, I don't know, so yeah, what I almost ate. And, I talk about what I was up to during the last lockdown. I went pretty hard at investing, and I give you a little insight on that. And, I talk about other things too, the feedback from the last podcast and that, but, anyway, you guys will hear it all on the show, so I hope you enjoy it.
Is it Carlos Hicks's
They calling his name, talking this shit, bro, you did it again.
Niggas say it out loud, muscles an animal.
Hello everybody, good evening, welcome back to the show. It's Just Lost podcast hosted by me, Lossy Loss. How was everyone's week? What do you get up to? What was the news this week? How are you doing in these corona times? Ooh, what's been happening? What did I get up to? My week was pretty much the same most weeks, like work, train, family. That's pretty much it. That's my life. I've been teaching self-defense classes to girls at a high school. I've been doing that for a little while now. I used to teach at other schools back in the day with my trainer, but so now I'm just doing the girls. I'm really liking it. Like, it's really important for these young girls to learn these skills, right? And it's basically just getting yourself out of certain situations, because the world is a bad place and it's filled with a lot of predators. Just a lot of guys just take advantage, and or whatever. We're heading into some really crazy times at the moment. If you don't think we are, I feel sorry for you. Just go buy some toilet paper. But so we're heading into some crazy times. I feel like everybody should learn how to protect himself, and for me personally, because I have daughters, I feel like girls especially need the skills to protect themselves. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. It's a big bad world out there full of big bad evil men. Just I'm kidding, there's some evil women too, equality. But so that's what I've been up to. Nothing's really changed. This week I'm starting a new segment. It's called What the Corona. And it's just basically an update on what's happening right now in New Zealand. I'll touch on the rest of the world as well, but basically now mandatory masks on public transport. So if you're catching the train, bus, what other public transports are there? The train and the bus. If you're on any of these things, maybe taxis, public? No, it's not But yeah, so public transport, wear your mask, alright? Alright? If you see, and please, don't go mental if you see somebody without a mask, alright? First things first, you got your mask on, so you're safe. Okay, if you got your mask on, you're safe. Secondly, when they do these corona tests, they got to shove this cotton bud all the way up your nose, almost touching your brain, to find this corona that's inside of you. So wearing your mask is basically protecting other people from I don't know the science behind wearing these cotton masks. I don't like to pretend that I do, but I'm just saying, be kind to people not wearing masks, because you never know what this person's going through. You don't know what they're doing. Everybody's got a right to choose. You wear a mask. If you see somebody without a mask, don't hype it up. Don't be mean. Don't try and start some crap. And yeah, just be kind, bruh. Like, there's no reason to try and amp yourself up because right, you do not want to get punched in the face. Like, it's not, obviously, I don't, like, you shouldn't, nobody should get, like, punch anyone in the face, really, you know, unless you deserve it, then no. But you know, there's no reason to put yourself in that situation. You know, I've seen videos of like people going crazy over masks, and a lot of these videos, the person wearing the mask isn't really looking that healthy. So, you know, like, are you really worried about your health, auntie? Come on, like, you know, just be kind. Be kind to everyone. Wear a mask on public transports. And yeah, that was my what the corona. Actually, no, that's not, because I found out this week, I don't know how old this is, I found out this week, speaking of being kind and wearing masks, if you don't know already, if you haven't heard, now in this new normal, it is highly recommended to wear masks during sexual intercourse. If you don't know what sexual intercourse is, please, this podcast is not for you. So, thank you. But, oh man, like, wearing a mask. See, you gotta wear a mask during sexual intercourse. Alright, so I've got something here that, will tell you a little bit about it. So, you know, it says, this is from CNN website. There's little guidance, though, when it comes to sex in the age of COVID-19. So, 3 Harvard physicians examined the likelihood of coronavirus infection in a number of sex activities. Rewind that. 3 Harvard physicians. How did they find? What? Hang on. So, 3 Harvard physicians examined the likelihood of coronavirus infections in a number of sex activities. How did they do that? How would you do that scientifically? It's interesting. But anyway, 3 Harvard physicians. Sounds like the start of some movie, but 3 Harvard physicians, right? And to better prevent infection during sex between partners who haven't been isolated together, people should wear masks and avoid kissing. Avoid kissing, isn't there like the start? You know, when you get into your car, put your seatbelt on, a kiss. That's like, no, actually, sorry, a kiss is unlocking the door, right? If we were to use a car analogy. So driving on the road is the P&V, you know. Opening the car, that's your, that's the kiss, right? Seatbelt on, bang, that's your mask. Or, you know, if you don't want to get pregnant, put a condom on. But, yeah, and wear a mask. Imagine this, right? You get this. I mean, I like it. Especially if, like, you're having sex with multiple partners, then yeah, sure, wear a mask. But also, you need kind of more of a mask to protect you from like other diseases that you might be carrying from person to person, right? If you got multiple partners. But yeah, wear a mask. If you get a text at 3 a.m., this is to all you single people out there, and you know, those who just want to reminisce a little bit. Imagine getting a text at 3 a.m., you know, from a girl, and she's like, hey, what are you doing? Come over. And you're like, yeah, you know, and then like, she's like, bring protection. So you're like, sweet, boom, chuck the condoms in the pocket, but on your way there, you get in there all excited, bruh. You guys start, oh, no, first she says, well, let's not kiss, right? Alright, sweet. So she's just there, And then she's like, did you bring protection? And then he's just like, yes, I did. So you pull out the condom, and then she's like, no, I mean, did you bring a mask? And then the bro's like, oh, nah, I didn't. What? Do I need, I thought you meant a condom. And she's like, sorry, I don't want to catch corona. So if you don't have a mask, we're not doing this. And oh man, nah. Well, wear a mask. Wear your mask, guys. Wear your mask. I remember in China, people were wearing masks like long before all of this stuff. When I lived there, I lived in China for probably about 2 years, and yeah, it was cool. It was cool. I went there to fight kickboxing, and we stayed in like a few cities, and it was cool, bro. It was a really cool experience. Like, it was just a whole nother world. I want to drop a story about China every episode as well, because, not every episode, like maybe a few episodes, every few episodes. So in China, right, on my first night there, when we reached Xi'an, this is a true story, right? So I was in bed. This is my first night there, and we had like a group of foreign boys, and my first night there, I was laying in bed, and like I was kind of thinking, right, my body clock was all left up because I flew from New Zealand. It was like a, I don't know, 12-14 hour flight, and then you had another stopover or some crap, and then we ended up in Xi'an. So anyway, I was laying down in bed, I was chilling, I was just like thinking about it. Just like, oh man, like, you know, like this is cool, blah, blah, blah. I was just going over thoughts in my head, and I couldn't sleep. So I thought, okay, stuff it. I'm just going to go for a run, like around the block. So I get ready, go for a run. So I go for a run around the block, and it was probably, I don't know, probably like a 5 or 6K run around the block, right? So I ran, and then I came around this, like I had been running for like, you know, maybe half an hour, 40 minutes. I was running up, and in the distance I saw like one of those tuk-tuk carts on the ground, the ones where, you know, if anyone's been to China or it's like a little food stall, you know. It's in Thailand, most of Asian countries, I don't know if they have, they had some in Wellington when I went, anyway. So I saw this one just tipped over, and I was like, hey, what the hell? And then so as I got closer, I saw like a little scuffle, right? There was 4 men, right? And then I was kind of running, and then as I got closer, like I was basically running right past them, like on the same road. Like I slowed down a little bit just to see what was happening. And there was these 4 men, right? So one man who I assumed was the owner of the food cart that had fallen over, because he had an apron on, he had food on him. And these other 3 guys were dressed up. They were drunk, so they looked like they just come from somewhere, right? And come for feed, and then an altercation happened. So anyway, this guy, the guy who owned the cart, he had this knife in his hand, right? So he had this knife, and these guys were like trying to get this knife off him, and like, while they were trying to get, they were punching him and kicking him and everything. This guy just would not let go of the knife. Like there was one of the guys that was holding the cart owner's hand. His arm was just like all sliced up. It was crazy. And then like there was another guy who like looked like he was bleeding as well. And so like they were just like trying to get this knife on internally, and then the guy on the left side like fully kicks this cart owner's head. Boom. And he falls to the ground. They manage to get the knife off him, and they walk away. Mind you, during this whole thing, right, I ran behind this bush that was just right there. Like, if you're wondering why I didn't stop this shit, it's because first time in a foreign country, like, and knowing that these guys, like, have no, like, like human life, because everybody's so desensitized there. There's a million people. So like, you know, I got warned before, if you see an altercation, don't jump into it, because you're the one who will end up in the most trouble. So anyway, I'm standing behind this, this bush, right? I'm standing behind this bush, and, And then like, I watched all of this happen. Like I just stopped and I watched all this happen. And then the guy who had the knife, he like walked and then he turned to the bush that I was at. Cause the bush, you can see through the bush. Like they can see, they can see me looking, right? So like they're looking at, see me looking. And then, like, me and the guy look at each other for a few seconds. And I was just like, okay, later, ball. And then I just turned around and carried on my run, right? I didn't, like, sprint away. I carried on my run because, like, obviously, if they chased, I would run because the bro's got a knife, right? And then if it came down to it, I would fight. But that was crazy. So I ran all the way back, bro. I ran up the steps. Knocked on the other boys, the foreign boys that were there. I knocked on their door and I was like, bro, I walked in. I was like, bro, and I only knew one person, like, for real, personally. And then the rest of the boys, we kind of just met. There was like 2 English boys, a Russian guy, 2 Russians. And like, so I was just like, bro, you won't believe what I just saw. And they're like, you know, and I told them the story and they didn't believe me. They were like, what the hell, Carlos, go to sleep, can. So I was just like, oh, bro, like, honestly, you gotta, like, so they didn't believe me anyway. Like, I went back and went to bed. And then the next day I took them there. And then when I took them there was just like blood all over the ground, like, just, you know, and then that's when they believed. They were like, what the freak, bro? And I go, gee, honestly, straight up, bro, that shiz is just like, whoa, you know, I was just like, I couldn't believe that happened. Like, over time in China, we saw so much things, and like, and the food that I ate there was crazy. Like, have you, anybody eat, like, what's the weirdest thing anyone ate, like, you've eaten? Like, the weirdest, like, edible thing. Obviously, there's a lot of things people put in their mouths that's not edible, but edible things. Like, what's the worst thing? I've, like, and when there were certain parts in China that I went and I got a job teaching, like, in between fights, teaching at a, Olympic feeder school. It was in Chaoyang. So it was kind of like, you know, if in China, they have these schools like spread across the country where kids do one specific thing, like from when they're young. That's why if you see the Olympics, like, these guys are just like, they're dominating. I don't know when was the last Olympics. Last time I remember, China had a lot of gold medals. But yeah, so these guys, they just like breed these kids for a specific sport. And I took the kickboxing thing. So like that was cool. I took the kickboxing classes and I got pretty close with a lot of the kids. I think there was about 76 students that I taught. Like, I had help with I had like 3 other teacher aides because obviously the language barrier was a little bit of a problem. But in combat sports, you only really need to know a certain number of things. Like, if we were training in a training environment, I can understand and they can understand me when I talk. Like, you know, I just need to learn a couple of Mandarin words and we'll be sweet. So, yeah, what was I getting at with the story? Oh yeah, food. Anyway, these guys, they took me to this, restaurant. Like, they go all out. When you eat in China, there is so much food that comes out. It's crazy. Like, these guys, they just every meal is like a banquet, you know. And there's this funny thing about, like, in the circle that I was in, because like in our circle there was like a lot of money in our circle. Like, I didn't have a lot of money. It was just the teachers and you know what I mean, the business dudes. But these guys, it was almost like everybody was wanting to pay, like, for everyone. And it was like a status thing, you know, like if somebody paid for you, it was like there'll always almost be a fight for who's going to pay. And, you know, in New Zealand, everyone's like got that whole looking for the wallet, haka thing, going like, oh shit, bruh, I forgot my wallet. Do you think he can pay? But in China, bro, they like actually rush to be the one that pays for everybody's food, which I thought was pretty cool. Anyway, so yeah, well, I'm at this restaurant, right? And so the first thing I learned when I was in China was asking, what is this? And what the, man, I'm sorry, something's stuck in my throat, man. I might have coronavirus. Yeah, so I thought that, I thought that I'd learn how to say certain foods like chiro, yaro, neuro, that's like pork, lamb, chicken. And then like jiga shishima, that's like, what is this? Jiga shishima. So, you know, you gotta, if you go to China, one thing that you need to learn is asking what this is, because, you know, it's not rude to ask like what this is, because obviously you've heard stories, you know, bats and stuff, but you ask them jiga shishima. So anyway, we're at this table, right? And then all this meat, and on, like, I tell you, Chinese people make anything taste nice. So when I see them eating, like not all Chinese people, obviously there's certain parts in China that's very poor that they have to eat certain foods, right? So when I see rats being eaten, chucked in some, I don't know, chop suey and stuff, I can guarantee, bro, that rat is probably the best rat that you're ever gonna taste in your life, bro. Because they know how to cook. They know how to cook, you know. So anyway, we're sitting around on the wheel of fortune. You know, when you go to a Chinese restaurant, there's a wheel, and then your food's on it. So, you know, it's called the wheel of fortune. I don't know if that's what it's actually called, but it's what it's called. So yeah, so we're on this. I'm just going jiga shishima, like, you know, and he's just like yaro, neuro, chiro, like, you know, he's saying that's lamb, that's thing. And then like there was this dish that came around, right? And it was just like finely sliced pieces. Like it looked like, it kind of looked like meat. It definitely looked like meat, but I didn't know what part of the animal. I didn't know what animal it was, and I didn't know what part of the animal it was. So I'm looking at it, and then these guys are like eating it, right? And then they're like, how che, kalosa, how che, like telling me that it's delicious and like I should eat it. Kalos, how che, eat it. And I'm like, jiga shishama. And then they look at each other. They look at each other and they're like, and I'm like, cuz, what is this? And then, like, I had it in my chopstick, and the bro, like, they were sitting next to me, the Chinese teacher, he put a couple on my plate, because that's what they do. They load your plate and stuff. They're real nice. They're real hospitable people. But, so the bro puts this on my plate, right? So I'm just like, all right, sweet sauce, everything. Before I picked it up, like I had it in my chopstick, and I was just like, jiga shishima. And they looked at each other and they were like, they started laughing. And, you know, when you're asking for like a question about like, what am I about to eat? And you start laughing, you can't, like, there's a few red flags that pop up, especially in China. So, I was just like, jiga shishima. And then they look and they were laughing, and I go, cuz, what the hell is this? Cause I'm not going to eat it. So I pushed it away. And then, the bro goes, no, how cha. So, and then like, and it's also another thing. It's rude to not eat food that's offered to you. Hang on. Let me finish this story, right? So, anyway, that got put on the table right in front of me. And I was like, yeah, jiga shishima. So I was like, yeah, and then they go, and then like, I don't know, if I had video on this podcast, I would show you. But what they did was, they kind of made, like, he showed me his finger, right? He put it down by his nuts, and then he raised his finger up. So and he did this sound. Doop. So he did this sound. Doop. And I'm not a rocket scientist, but I think I had some penis on my plate. I don't know what animal it was. Oh no, actually I did. He did say it was yarrow. It was lamb penis on my plate. I was like, nah, bro. Like, I'm full. I'm full. I'm full. I've had, I'm like, and then like, cause obviously I didn't want to be rude. So I'm just like, nah, I'm alright. I'm alright. And they were like, how cha? Like, eat. I forget the word for eat. But he's like, eat it. And I'm like, nah, bro, honestly, like, oh, bro, like, I'm done, man. Like, I can't even eat. I'm gonna spew. I'm gonna vomit. Because I'm not talking Mandarin, I'm like, I'm talking, like, with my actions, like, hopefully they'll understand. Like, I'm going, no, I'm gonna vomit, like, bleh, bleh, if I eat more food, like, I need to go to toilet, my stomach, so my head's spinning, and I'm like just trying to make them like not feed me this penis, and so I ended up not eating that penis, but I don't know. Thinking back, I probably should have tried it, bro. Probably should have tried it just so I can tell this story, but it's what does penis taste like? So yeah, I should have tried it really, because I tried other weird things while I was there. Yeah, and it was just like so that was my China story. I'll try and if I remember it, just drop it in whenever I think about it or remember it. I was really wanting to talk about the last lockdown. Like, what did people get up to? What did everyone did everyone use their time wisely? One thing that I did during the lockdown is I went balls deep in finance and investing, and I just learned as much as I could, like the stock markets, the fluctuation, the volatility of like the stocks in the market, and like certain companies, like I went pretty deep in it, and I jumped into the stock market pretty, like, while there was a lot of lows, but I also jumped in on like other things that kind of lost me some money, but obviously that's just how it goes. And my mistake was I jumped in before I had like learned enough. If you are gonna invest, if you are gonna, like, if you want to go down that road, man, just do your research on everything, because I thought I did, but then obviously I didn't, because like I started, once I started making some money on it, I got like excited, and then I was just like, yo, this is so easy. And then there was a shift, and then it was just like, boom, all their money went, and I was just like, damn. Like, this is crazy. I wasn't like really phased too much. Like, I don't have a lot of money, but I understood the risk jumping into it, and like we had savings as well. So, when you do start investing, make sure you have savings and stuff like that. Like I've been doing it. I've been doing it for a while now. Probably like I don't know. Probably like ever since the first lockdown, that's when I started going in. I put money in things that other experts said to put money in, and a couple of them have been doing pretty well, actually, and a couple of them have just burnt me. So that's what I got what I got into. I went pretty hard at investing. Not investing as in putting money in, but just learning about it. And I think it'll be a good idea for if you have time to learn about the stock markets and learn about different companies and like kind of try and build a future for yourself. Like how when you put money into the banks, the money just sits there, and like even if you put it in a high interest or high growth bank account, you don't really make as much as you would in 10 years than you would if you put stocks into a company that you researched in, because in 10 years the money that you put in could have tripled, like times by 10 or something like that, whereas your money in the bank would have only sort of gone up maybe 5%, so yeah, that was something that I was saying. And so my portfolio now is all right. It's looking pretty sweet. This new Tesla and Apple split, that was good. Like that worked in my favor when it split. And then now if you were to look at the stocks now, everything's gone down. Like the prices just dropped, so it's just a sea of red at the moment. But that's what I got up to. Like that's kind of like, this podcast, bruh, it's just me talking about anything. There's not going to be a structure to this thing. There's not going to be a flow to this thing. But I'm just gonna go, and then just what I think about is just gonna come out. What I feel like talking about, I'm just gonna talk about it. There's not really any structure to this thing. So yeah, that's what I did. Investing. Sometimes it's gonna be boring. Most times it's not. It's gonna be fun most times because it's just, I don't know. It's just me talking crap, really. But I'll also like just be myself. So investing, I got into that. And it's really intriguing, bro. Like if you do your research, if you can study it properly, man, like, frick, that's another stream of income for yourself. So I implore anyone really that listens to this thing to have a look at it. It might not even be for you, bruv. Like like a lot of people, but honestly, it's really just like $50 a week. So that's pretty much like what I thought of was how much money do I spend on like nothing, on food, on random crap, because then that's what that was the money that I used to invest. So that was what I was doing during the lockdown. What did everybody else get up to? I saw a lot of people I saw started exercising, which was good. Like, that's good. A lot of those people who are not doing it anymore. What's wrong with you, bruh? Go for a run, cars. Yeah, but, so after the lockdown, everybody forgot about it, which is, understandable. Nothing to do, something to do, some sort of thing. So, so the last lockdown, that was, that was my, Corona. That was my thing, what I got into. What else? What did you guys get into? I got a lot of good, damn, sorry. I got a lot, hang on, I'm just gonna have some water. If you don't hear from me next week, I'll probably have coronavirus. So about last week's podcast, man, it was real cool. Everybody that that messaged me and that just gave me advice, gave me what they thought about the podcast, man. I really appreciate all the messages and like just people telling me in person what they felt about it. It's cool. It's cool. Like this thing, like I'm slowly starting to get my feet in this. I felt like I was a little bit more prepared this time, but not quite, because there was moments of blankness in there. So, man, everybody that messaged and that it means a lot to me. It means the world to me, you know. So, thank you for the messages and liking and the following and the streams. Like, it's real cool, and it's real good to see just like everyone just you know, support each other, bruh. Like this world's a bad place, and especially for us New Zealanders, like, man, we've got the potential, all of us, to like take over the world, but nobody's supporting, you know. Like, a stranger will support you more than your family will, you know. Think about that, you know. A stranger that you haven't even met yet, you don't even know, will have your back more than your family will. Your family is the first ones that are supposed to share your crap, send your stuff, you know what I mean? See your stuff, talk about it, give feedback. Like, that's what the fam could, because when you succeed, your family's got to be, you're going to spoil your family. But but a lot of family, when somebody in their family succeeds, they did not help them from the ground up. So, and then once this person starts succeeding, all of a sudden their family again, you know what I mean? Like, especially and friends also, like, you know what I mean? Like, friends that you haven't heard from for years. Suddenly, when you get a bit of clout, hey, sup G, like, what have you been up to? You know, la la la. And it's just like, cars, like, keep that same energy, bro. You keep that distance. Like, you gotta, I keep that energy. I keep that distance, bro. If we don't vibe, we haven't spoken, or we haven't reached out, or there's no congrats or nothing like that, bro, we've got nothing to talk about, cuz. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, we need to support each other from the jump, not just when people get like a little bit of clout. I'm having some more water, sorry. Not when people get a little bit of clout, you know. Support each other, man. Like, support your family. There's people in your family, bro, that have these ideas, right? And then, like, they don't do it because you belittle them. You think that, oh, that's never gonna work. Like, what are you on about, bruh? Build these dudes up. Like, you know, just try it. Just try it. Try and support the people that you love, or that you claim to love. It's good. It's good for you. It's good for your inner being. It's good for your soul, man. It's good for your soul. Just continue to just, you know, yeah. So there's, I don't know. I think that's probably me. In this episode 2, it's still, you know, it is what it is. But I'm very grateful for everyone that listened to the first podcast. And I am super grateful for everybody that's listening to this one right now. I love you all, and bye-bye.
Is it Carlos Hicks's
They calling his name, talking this shit, bro, you did it again.
Niggas say it out loud.